is for web technologies important questions for BCom second year students. So first of all, we'll discuss about what are the important questions in web technologies. First, from the first unit, uh, first most important concept from the first unit is what is the structure of HTML and execution steps in HTML code. So here you have to take any um, a simple program for executing and write or that simple program with the HTML tags. Okay, so write only the HTML tags and what is the heading section, title, body. In body section take any 2-3 tags, like formatting tags, like any table related tags, like that. So just explain a program with a simple example. So that is what structure of HTML and execution steps in HTML code. And the next is what are the tables and what about write about different attributes of table tag. So here just you need to write definition of a table and explain table related attributes and all tags. Okay, take one example program, any one simple employee table, or else take any timetable related table, any simple table, and which tags you are using in that table and what are the attributes you will use in that table, that you have to explain with the example program. That is, and the next is what is a form, explain various attributes of a form in HTML. So here you have to explain about a form, what is a form, definition of a form, and form related attributes. Okay, so this is one more important question from the web technology. And the next is explain in detail about frames with an example program. Here you have to explain a frame related tags. Here you have vertical frames and horizontal frames, right? First you have to explain what is a frame and take one example program, whether will you go with the horizontal or a vertical. If you go with horizontal, take two parts of a um web page, so that in two part, first top portion and the bottom portion. In top portion which program you are writing, and in the bottom portion which program you are writing, so that explain top side of a web page and bottom side of web page with two example programs. This is about frames. Okay, next, explain in detail about web designing principles. Web designing principles means how do you design a web page, what are the guidelines for designing a web page, that you have to write. Okay, and next, what are hyperlinks, explain with an example program. So here you have to explain a hyperlink, what is an hyperlink, and take one any link to which web page you need to connect, or which web page you need to uh, uh, add, so that you can take one example program and explain about hyperlinks. Next more important question is what is a list, and explain types of list. So what are the three actually we have three types of list, explain the three types of list. Okay, first write the definition of a list and go through with the three types of list with the example programs. Okay, so this is all about first unit. And coming to the second unit, so in second unit actually we have cascading style sheets. So those are what is what is CSS, explain types with the basic syntax and structure of that cascading style sheet. So first you have to explain what is CSS, and we have different CSS. No? So write that syntax and structure. Here also take one example program for the CSS and explain that example program. Okay, and next go to how to create a multimedia effects with filters. So here what is multimedia, where do we use multimedia, and how it will be affected with the filters. So here you need to explain filters concept also. So this is what second question from second unit. And next, about this CSS, we are also going to learn about some properties, right? So different types of properties, where do we, how do we will be there apply for the CSS, like text properties or font properties or list or border, like that. So they will sometimes they will mention in a question paper, explain about so particular properties, or they will just ask you the question like what is CSS, explain different types of properties in a CSS. So you need to explain, right? And then fourth question is what is CSS animation and transition. What is CSS animation and transition? So just here explain what is cascading style sheet animations and what are the transition. Take one example program and explain that example program. Okay, so this is what is it, second unit. Now coming to the third unit. So in third unit, what we have, actually we have JavaScript. Okay, so what is a JavaScript? Describe what are the core features of JavaScript. So here some come what we can, using HTML we can't do some arithmetical logical calculations, right? So we go with the JavaScript. So that arithmetical logical part can be done with the JavaScript. No? So in third unit, all functions of JavaScript and operators of JavaScript, mathematical oriented concepts will be there in this third unit. So first important question is what is JavaScript and describe core features of JavaScript. So you have to explain. And the next is explain functions used in the JavaScript, different types of function. And what is an operator, explain different types of operators in a JavaScript. This is also an important question. In this they will ask you different questions like explain about math objects, explain about different sometimes they will mention and sometimes they will not, they will ask you directly. Okay, so explain about math objects in JavaScript. And the next, what are the different data types supported by the JavaScript? That is also one more question. And the next is looping statements in JavaScript. Same question, how do we use loops in a JavaScript? Next is define document object model. So this is DOM. So define document object model. How do you write code for that? Just write down with the example program. And next is explain about types of control statements in JavaScript. This is also one more question from third unit, right? And the next question is what are attributes? What are the in the JavaScript? What are different where do we use arrays, how we use arrays in a JavaScript? That you need to explain here. This is what third unit. And coming to the fourth unit. In fourth unit we have one second. In fourth unit what we have all events. Okay, event handling is there in the fourth unit. So what are mouse events? Explain event handlers for them. Okay, so you need to sometimes separately they will ask you the question what are mouse event. What happened to this? One second. Now see, what are mouse events? Explain event handlers for them. Next is what explain onload and unload events with examples. So separate, they will ask you the questions with that particular events, or else just they will ask you the explain about few events, like what are events, specify any 5 events, and what is an event, explain event handling mechanism. Like this they will ask you the question based on events. Okay, what is an event, explain types of keyboard events, they will specify like this. And write a short note on click, on double click, on drag drop. So you have to write with some example programs here. So this is what fourth unit. Coming to the fifth unit. Actually in fifth unit we have XML. So you have important concepts on XML is just about style sheets. So explain in detail about XML style sheet. First important question. And the next is what is XML? Features of XML is also important. Okay, you have to explain why, what is XML, what are the main features of XML, what are the functionality of this XML. Next, explain the rules of XML with syntax. So while writing an XML program, which rules we use for creating a program? writing a program, so that with the syntax. And next, explain syntax and rules for creating XML document. So for creating XML document, which syntax we write, that one. The next is explain in detail about query XML query. In query also we have some methods. So write, they take one query, like one example program, with that explain what is XML query. This is. And next, explain in detail about document object model. So this document object model is also important in fifth unit. And now one more important concepts in fifth unit is DTD, document type definition. So explain the basic building blocks of this document type definition, DTD. You have to take one example program, explain about document type definition with some program. So these are the important questions from fifth, all 5 units. Okay.